Selections from 1, 2, and sometimes 3. Choices. Left or right, up or down, choices surround. No matter what the circumstances, choices are bound by consequences. Daddy's feet. It's pretty gross, these feet I dread. I go to a happy place in my head. I imagine tiny people living on his toes, in a fungal jungle plugging up their nose. Toe jam swamps and Mount Toenail, floating on his sweaty feet they sail. The Lance Dance. He went to the edge of the playground where the grass didn't grow anymore. He slid off his jacket. His feet started to shuffle as dirt clouded up from the floor. Lance started off with a few basic steps. His moves were precise and slow. Students gathered around. The noise was muted in anticipation of the show. But Lance didn't notice the crowd moving in his world all alone. He started to move like they'd never seen poetry of flesh and bone. Dirty, dumb dog. He licks everything around. He licks the wall and he licks the ground. He licks his bottom. He licks everything in sight. Then he gives me a great big lick goodnight. His mouth is big, but his tongue is much bigger. How that happened, I can't quite figure. These hands. I awoke one morning gazing at these hands, transfixed on how they followed the slightest commands. I knew in that moment that these hands could do anything, as long as I guided these hands with focus and feeling. The unlikeliest hero. There once lived the most evil queen, with the darkest soul you have ever seen, and she ruled the kingdom with cruelty and hate, whose peasants suffered the most horrific fate. They were starved near death and worked to the bone, while she pointed her finger from the witch's throne. Bugger of a hugger. My little sister has the most horrific habit, bouncing around like a little brat rabbit. This habit is worse than hitting or scratching, worse than spitting or biting or evil plan hatching. My little sister is the worst little bugger. My little sister is a compulsive hugger. Locker contortionist. Out into the hall I see them while they can't see me. I guess I'm kind of like a spy. Into the halls my eyes do pry. So think twice before you act, 'cause I see you, and that's a fact. The sand and me. But something was different. The sand was not sand. Not quite sure what, as it washed onto land. Picked up by a young man and given to a girl, this single piece of sand had turned into a pearl. A pearl so soft and so smooth and so white. It connected two souls, a love burning bright. The free tree. I am going to live up in a tree, living high and living free. I've had enough of society. I need to leave and just be me. Don't worry, you will see. Living free in a tree will be good for me. teeny tiny drop. A teeny tiny drop fell from a teeny tiny cloud. It fell into the sky, strong, round, and proud. It had dreams of being part of a sparkling lake, but it got cold, and that drop turned into a flake. Crystal water floating down, so subtle and unique. A place to call home, this tiny drop did seek.